Hi everybody, Jane here. I thought I'd do a voiceover to a bit of a time lapse today. I am creating a journal page in the Khadi Fat Book, and I decided I wanted to use my gelatos. Now, I've recently made a video using the gelatos, and a lovely lady kindly pointed out to me in the comments that if you want your gelatos to blend more smoothly, then if you lay down some gesso, that will help them do so without water. Now, I did actually know that, but I'd totally forgotten because it'd been so long since I had last used my gelatos. So today I decided to coat the page with some transparent gesso. It was quite interesting on the Khadi paper. It gave it a kind of plasticky sort of look, which I guess it would, because that's sort of what gesso is, isn't it? Really, it's acrylic, and I did wonder if it would affect how the paper held up, but actually the paper, I think it helped because it gave it an extra sort of barrier to all the different mediums being thrown at it. I think the Khadi paper is pretty good anyway, but it just added some more of a slick surface for where I'm now applying the gelatos. Now, I'm going to try to remember what the colours are. Now, the very light yellow, yellowy, orangey brown, which I thought was a rusty sort of colour, is I can't remember. I will list them all in the description box below. I won't add links for everything because a lot of what I'm using in this video is where I am trying to use things that are already in my stash, and some things like the gelatos I've had an awful long time. So the best advice I could give is that if there are products that you think, oh, they look interesting, I will list the names where possible in the description box. So if you want to search them, that's probably the best way anyway, because as I always say in the description box, I'm based in the UK, so if I give links, they will be UK based. Now, for some people that's fine, but for many people that's probably not going to be much use to you, and it's probably better that you search the term, the name of the product, rather than using any links. None of my links are ever affiliated, so I'm not gaining anything by you using them. Now, here I have got a stencil that was from a magazine from years ago that was free. Well, free, you pay for the magazine, you get it with it. And I've remembered that if you put down a layer of gesso underneath a lot of products, especially the gelatos, it gives a really good surface for being able to lift colour. So that is what I did there. I used a wet wipe because it was easier, but you could use paper, like kitchen roll type paper or a cloth with some water. But I do find that the baby wipes or the wet wipes do help. A lot of them are now more eco-friendly, and I never put them where they shouldn't go. I hope that makes sense. Then I found in my stash as well, this is a rice paper from Stamperia. Now, it has got a number, but what I will do is I will look up the number after I've finished recording this voiceover, and in the description I'll put the name as well as the number, but then you'll be able to search up the particular rice paper. Again, this is from a collection from a fair while ago. I bought a number of the different ones, but I'm not a collection type of person, so I tend to just buy the little bits and bobs that I want. So I just tore some strips, some pieces, because I wanted to get a nice raggedy edge, but I wanted also the straight edges so that it could go along the sort of the frame I've created with the tape around my page. And I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress Collage medium in the matte version. It is one of my favourites for using because it gives a nice matte finish. It doesn't put any glossiness on your page. You do have to still think about what you put over the top of things like your mediums, because it can provide a bit of a surface that some things don't like to sort of stick to. But if that's a problem, then you can always add another layer of clear gesso. Now, I wanted to amalgamate the rice paper back into the page, so I repeated the same stencil that I used for lifting the gelatos, and this time I'm using gesso to go through, because gesso tends to be a little bit more translucent, because I didn't want a really solid colour, and this gesso isn't white, it is actually cream, and so I thought that went a bit nicer with the sort of vintage steampunky vibes. Now I have got the collage book from Maremi's Small Art, and this is the little personas, the industrial book, and I decided very early on that this was the little character that I wanted to add to my page. And I actually did choose my Gelatos colours based on the image. So I looked at the image, and here I'm just looking through the book to see if there's anything else I want to add to the page, and I came to the conclusion there wasn't. I just wanted the girl because I felt that like, it's a girl, it could be a girl, it could be a boy, you can't really tell. And then I was looking at that very front page because I thought, do I want the lampposts? But no, I decided that this little person had to be the main image. Now, often I cut out all the cutting out parts of my videos because I just think sometimes it's a little bit boring to watch. But I thought, actually, I'm going to leave it in this time. And I wanted to show you that even though it is quite a fiddly image, if you like to think of it like that, and there's lots of little bits and pieces, I'm leaving a little bit of a border around the edge. And also where there are bits where there's internal elements that could be cut out, I am not cutting them out. I'm leaving them because they've got a very creamy, vintagey colour inside. So my theory is that when I put this on the page, it's not really going to stand out in any way, shape or form. It's going to look like it's part of the page. Also, by leaving a little bit of a border around the edge, I'm hoping it's going to lift it from my background a little bit as well. So that is why I decided to sort of not cut out every single little bit. So if you don't want to cut out every little single bit of your images, you don't have to, leave a little bit of a border, and then, that looks fine. So I placed it on my page, and then I decided that I wanted to remove the tape, because sometimes I like, when I've done a background, that the collage focal image sort of just comes off that background slightly. I think it just adds, I don't know what it is, just adds a little bit of interest to the page. And now actually where I didn't cut out the inside of some of them elements, it now matches with my background page anyway, the sort of where it's sticking over. So I'm using the same collage medium to stick down my little character. And I did sort of debate at this point. I was thinking, do I want to add some shadow around it? But I decided, actually, I liked it as it was, but I did feel the page still needed something. And as I was rummaging around in the drawers next to me, I found these remnant rubs from Tim Holtz that I have had for a long time now. These are numbers. And again, I'm not even sure if these ones still actually are being made. So, I won't put a link or anything, just search up remnant rubs numbers, and you may find there are shops where they've got stock left over, even if they're not being produced anymore. So I wasn't even sure if these would stick to the page, because I've got Gelatos, I've got matte medium, I've got Gesso, I've got collage, I've got all sorts on there, and I didn't know if they would stick, but they actually did stick very well, especially considering they are not the the newest of basically transfers. So I got the little stick comes with them. I always make sure I cut off the bits I'm going to use. I don't put the whole sheet over and then rub, because then you risk ruining other parts. So I just cut the part away from the main sheet. Then I remove the backing, place it down, and then use my stick. And they came away quite easily from the transfer paper. They weren't tricky. They were all coming away in one go. I didn't have to go back in at all. They were quite easy to use. And then these are Butterfly Whispers. Now these, again, stickers that I have had a long time. I don't think these are even made anymore. I don't think they were very well known at the time. So I have just chosen a quote from there, and then I thought this looks a bit stark. Once I dried the matte medium, I did just rubbed it over with my finger. So I added a little bit of the matching Gelatos, because I thought that would tie it in to the rest of the page. And then you will see me, I grab one of the Pitt pens and just add a little bit of a border. And that is more or less the end of the project. So if you've enjoyed it, do please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would subscribe. Thank you very much to all my continuing subscribers and my returning watchers. And if you're new, thank you for coming. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night or evening or morning, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.